Okay, what is the basic revenue situation in Texas? Well, it doesn't bode very well for the state. Here's what I mean by that. There are only three forms of taxation that I know anything about. You can tax it when it comes in, that's an income tax. You can tax it when it's in place, and that's a real estate tax, which are for some reason generally referred to as property taxes. But in fact, real estate is the only form of property that's taxed. Or you can tax it when it goes out, and that's a sales tax. Or a severance tax, or a motor vehicle tax, or a hotel motel tax, whatever you want to call it, or a sin tax. We have in our state constitution a virtual prohibition against an income tax, put there by Bob Bullock, basically. It provides that you can't pass an income tax, if I recall, without 2/3 vote in each house and a referendum by the people. So in other words, it prohibits an income tax. You have a constitutional amendment adopted in 1972, which prohibits a state property tax. So that leaves sales taxes of various forms. Your oil and gas, a severance tax, which used to be a major feature, a form of sales tax. When I was in state government, probably during that time, we probably passed about three tax bills. Always after great agonizing, probably one or two special sessions. And when all that was said and done, the answer was always a 1/4% increase in the sales tax. So what that tells you is that the sales tax is the least unacceptable form of taxation. But with those with that basic structure, and with the constitutional prohibitions against income tax, state property tax, that just leaves you one other kind of tax. And somewhere there's got to be an upper limit to that. So because of those rigidities in the Constitution, the folks who are responsible for writing state budgets and tax bills have got a pretty tough road to hoe. One of the things most discussed and most controversial, of course, is a state income tax, which is not going to happen. There's a very strong and very understandable aversion to it. The feds have screwed up the income tax so as to make it a nasty word. When you have a tax code that is so incomprehensible, and where it's nothing for your tax return to run 10 or 12 pages. When you've got something that complex, that screwed up, and that's what's in people's minds, and why shouldn't it be when you say income tax? So maybe the whole thing waits on Congress to clean up the federal tax before a state tax is possible.
So what are the implications of that then for expenditures in the state?
Well, they're very low and will remain low.
Period.
Yes.